This is a camera that has audio designed first and video designed as a secondary thing. I'm going to take a good look today at the audio only, not at the picture. Pictures next time. Since this camera is designed more around audio than video, it's basically aimed at people like musicians, maybe people who don't know too much about video but want to get good audio recordings. So that'd be people who want to record on stage, musicians, people at home who want to record themselves playing something, I don't know. Something like that. It's interesting that in the handbook that Zoom give out, at the beginning of the handbook, they go straight into audio, and there's really not a lot there about video. If you've been looking at this camera to buy, you've probably seen this already, but it records video as MOV files, and you can either have WAV files alongside the sound on the camera, or you can have WAV files separately, or you can use its own internal mixer. So it's quite a thing. It records at 96, 48 or 44.1 kilohertz. So you've got a high frequency response going on there at 96 anyway, and it will record also 24 or 16-bit audio. It's got a high pass filter at 80, 120, 160, 200 and 240 hertz. And there's a limiter, a compressor, a leveler, a de-esser, a noise gate, and you can even pan the audio left and right on the mixer. So there's also a delay setting for streaming on a webcam if you want. One thing about the special effects I need to say is that I found those effects slightly limiting. I think the one that I really enjoyed using was the limiter, because that stops you peaking. So you can switch a limiter in, and as soon as you get near that 0 point, it cuts off, and it works pretty well actually. I had some issues with the compressor. It certainly raises the volume of what you record. It sounds a lot louder, but there are no controls as to where the threshold is and what you can do with it and the amount of compression. It just compresses, so it's quite a crude kind of thing. The leveler just basically is an automatic volume control, which I would never use, I don't think. There's a de-esser, which again is a little bit crude in the way it works. It really brings the S sound down to the it's a bit like that, but it does work. But it's quite a crude one. And the noise gate, it does work, but it has to be very, very, very quiet for the threshold again to be reached. And what that means is that the noise gate doesn't actually switch in unless it's dead quiet, and then it does switch in. But in very quiet environments, you can get to a point where the noise gate is just about to switch on and off. And so what happens is it goes switches on and off, and you can hear that. There's no way again to set the threshold for the noise gate. So although this camera has got effects on it for you to use with the audio, they're a little bit crude in comparison to, say, using something on a computer. Now, at the moment, I'm using an RE320, as you can probably see, and I'm going directly into this, nothing else in line. And the gain on this is set roughly just above halfway. It's got plenty of gain. To get the same amount of volume from my H4n, I have to be near 100% on the H4, but this one is just over 50. So it seems to have a little bit more gain on it as well, which is rather nice. It's got two XLR inputs, so it's 1, 2. There is no 3.5mm input, but it's got a stereo mic on board as well. So it's a pretty nice thing. You can mix the sound with the mixer. You can mix the stereo with the side. So you can have direct sound going into the microphone, and then you can turn the stereo mic on if you want a little bit of ambience as well. That's nice for musicians actually, when you're in a hall, say, and you're recording musicians close up and you've got an audience watching. You can just pick up a little bit of touch of that audience by turning up the stereo. It does introduce a little bit more noise doing that, but it does work, and I've tried it in here, and I can start to pick up the effects of my box room just by tweaking it or taking it down, and I can control the amount of room effect that I'm getting, which is a handy thing for musicians. Maybe not for a voiceover type thing, but for musicians, that's a useful thing. Along with its two XLR inputs, it's got phantom power of 12, 24 and 48 volts. So it will drive microphones that need phantom power. And the input noise is at -120 dBu. So it is a quiet recorder. This is the Shure SM57 going straight into the Zoom Q8n. This is going straight in with nothing like a Fethead, nothing going on there. This is just the straight sound of the microphone as it is. This is the sound of the RE320, the mic I've been using for the whole of the video, going straight in, again with no Fethead. There you go. That's the RE320 going straight into the Zoom Q8n. Now I've switched on phantom power, and this is the Avantone CK1 going straight into the camera. This has got a lot more gain than the dynamics, so I've had to turn the gain down on the camera, but as you can see, it works perfectly well. This is the sound of the Pure 441 Flex going straight into the camera. Again, phantom supply is on and gain has been adjusted. So you can see it's driving these microphones dead easy. This is the sound of the onboard stereo microphone that comes with the Zoom itself. This thing goes on and off. It can be taken off and be replaced with something like a shotgun microphone. One of the SG8, I think they're called, SG8 microphones that come from Zoom, they fit on. Those microphones are also used with their other recorders. So they're quite nice microphones. They're not bad. I think they're a little bit more noisy than some other microphones, but this stereo microphone is okay, not bad. This is the fastest setup I've ever had. What you do is you just plug in, turn up your gain and off you go. There's a nice clear screen. Don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's nice and clear and it gives you a really good idea of where your audio is sitting. And at the moment I can see that I'm peaking just about at -12. You can't, curiously enough, you can't switch over to the mixer while you're using the unit. So there is a mixer where you can pan left and right and put the effects in and out or whatever, but you can't do that while you're actually using the unit. So if I press the mixer button, nothing actually happens, but it is a good recorder. I've got to say, this is the fastest setup and cleanest, one of the cleanest setups I've got here. I think it's very, very, very good. The fact that it drives an RE320 with ease is brilliant. I don't have to use Fetheads, nothing. It just goes and it's fine. It's nice and quiet, and I'm very, very pleased with the audio side of it. There is another thing though. We've got the video, and that's for another video. I'm not going to do the video and audio in the same place because I've got mixed feelings about this camera. It has definitely been designed with audio people in mind and not really with video people in mind. And I think as a recorder, it's absolutely superb. It's a really good recorder. Whether it's worth the money, I think it's going to be released in the UK somewhere around £350. The simplicity of use, the ease of use and how fast you can get set up is terrific. I really like that aspect of it. It comes with a stereo microphone, which is useful, and it's got that nice little mixer on board. So it's got a lot going for it, and I'm very, very pleased with it. And the fact that I can just use this to record my audio on and get such good clean audio is a fantastic thing. It's a really nice thing. So I love the audio aspect of it, but I'm going to tell you what I think of the video aspect of this next time, and I hope to see you then. Cheers for now.